Wildlife photography is one of the most rewarding types of photography, but when I first got into it, I made just about every beginner mistake you can imagine. From terrible lighting to bad angles, I ruined a lot of shots I could have been proud of. I'm Sai Pathy, and in this video, I'm sharing the 5 biggest beginner mistakes that I made, and more importantly, how you can avoid them so you get better photos faster. I hope that you know that if I can do it, so can you. And I hope that this video inspires you to just get out there. Let's start with what I think is the most important thing in wildlife photography, light. And when I first started, I didn't even think about light. I'd go out at noon when the sun is like full on blazing overhead and wondered why all my pictures looked flat, harsh, or just boring. But it's not just harsh sunlight that can ruin your shots. Foggy, overcast days with no directional light can be just as tricky. If there's no light at all, your photos will end up looking flat, muddy, and it just lacks any real detail or contrast. The reality is wildlife photography, and really photography in general, is all about capturing light. The best light happens early in the morning and late in the day, during golden hour. The light is soft, warm, directional, and all of that makes your subject pop. Here's an example of a wood duck I got on a foggy day. There's a haze in the picture, maybe some atmospheric distortion, and it just makes the whole thing look soft. No amount of editing was fixing it for me. Now check out this picture, and the light here was great. The bird looks to be sharper, the whole picture looks better, there's more contrast, it's clearer. When the light just isn't there, sometimes the best decision is to put the camera down, grab a cup of coffee, and watch a YouTube video. The second big mistake I made was totally ignoring my backgrounds. I was so focused on the subject itself, I didn't notice what was going on behind the subject. There could have been distractions or bright patches pulling attention away from the subject. Look, a good background makes a photo, and a bad background breaks it. Now, I'm constantly scanning the scene, looking for clean, simple backgrounds. Sometimes just shifting a few feet to the left or even to the right can make all of the difference. Check out these 2 pictures of the cardinals. The first one is a bad example of a distracting background. You can see there's too much going on in this picture, and it really takes the attention away from the subject. Whereas in this second picture, the background is clean, blurred out, and makes the subject pop. Mistake number 3 is all about angles. And I used to get this wrong all the time. When I started, I'd just stand and shoot up or down at the birds or whatever was in front of me. And that made my subject seem distant, disconnected. They lacked any sense of intimacy or connection. Take a look at these 2 pictures of great blue herons. In the first picture, I'm shooting up at the bird, and it makes the subject lack any intimacy to the viewer. It feels distant and disconnected. Whereas in the second example, the subject is eye level. The viewer feels like they're part of the picture. It brings the subject to life. Get to eye level. Whether that means kneeling, sitting, or even laying down in the mud, getting eye to eye with wildlife instantly makes your photos more personal and engaging. When you're at eye level, you're inviting the viewer into the animal's world instead of looking down on it or looking up to it. Another big mistake I made was when I was starting out, I was just trying to fill my whole frame with the subject. I mean, I got this awesome Sony A1 with 50 megapixels. I can crop and really highlight the features of the subject, right? Wrong. So I saw this concept on a YouTube video. I didn't come up with it, and I'm sorry, I don't even remember the video where I saw it. What I do know is this concept of PI stuck with me. It stands for portrait, interaction or action, and environment. And this concept essentially says when photographing wildlife, your pictures fit into one of these categories. As a beginner, I was just excited to get the shot, period. And I ended up with what we call a bunch of bird on the stick pictures, where they all end up being portrait category. Portrait shots are nice. They're close up, detailed, and you can see every feather, scale, or whisker. Interaction or action shots capture movement or behavior. A bird is feeding, animal fighting, or courtship displays. And environment shots pull back and show the subject in its habitat. It gives context to the scene. Sometimes the most powerful wildlife images are environmental shots where the subject is small, but you could really feel the sense of the place. Fog rolling over a marsh, or an eagle taking off and jumping off a pine tree it was on. Those wider shots tell a different kind of story. Take a look at the difference in these two bald eagle pictures. In the first one, I just wanted to be as close to the subject as possible. I cropped heavily. In the second picture, it just tells a better story. It highlights the environment where the bald eagles perch. The key is variety. Don't just think closer is better. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. Knowing when to get close and when to pull back gives you way more creative options. Now, the final mistake I made, and this is a big one, was settling for boring, static shots. I'd get a bird perched on a branch, snap the shot, and move on. There was no story, no behavior, nothing to make the image stand out. The best wildlife photos show action. A bird catching a fish, a fox pouncing, even just a simple interaction between animals. Capturing behavior adds so much more interest and emotion to your images. Now I'm constantly looking for action, preening, feeding, courtship displays, and I'm willing to wait for that moment instead of settling for the first shot. Now take a look at this bald eagle. This was a sight to see. There was one eagle in the nest. This guy caught this fish and came back to the nest, and they both munched on this poor fish for a late lunch. But I had to wait 2 hours to get this shot. Bald eagles are a rarity in Texas. So those are the 5 biggest mistakes I made as a beginner wildlife photographer. Shooting in bad light, ignoring the background, staying at bad angles, being too far away, and not capturing story or action. If you're just starting out, I hope that this helps you skip some of the frustration that I went through. And if you already made a few of these mistakes, trust me, you're not alone. What's the biggest mistake you made when you first started out in wildlife photography? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more wildlife photography tips. Until next time, just get out there.